Manchester today pulses with unstoppable energy. A city where music legends like Oasis and Joy Division still echo through the streets, where the roar of football rivalries between United and City unites and divides in equal measure, and where scientific breakthroughs continue to shape our world. From the splitting of the atom to revolutionary advances in computing and materials science, this is a place defined by innovation and defiance. Yet behind the gleaming towers and vibrant cultural scene lies an epic story of transformation spanning nearly 2,000 years. In this video, we travel back through time to witness Manchester's complete evolution, from a lonely Roman outpost on the edge of empire to the world's first industrial metropolis, and finally to the resilient, reinvented city we know today. Using cutting-edge AI, we bring dusty engravings, faded photographs, and historical records to vivid, breathing life. You will stand shoulder to shoulder with Roman soldiers as they hammer stakes into wild earth. You will walk the muddy lanes of a medieval market town. You will feel the choking smoke of cotton mills and the raw determination of workers who changed history. Prepare for a journey filled with triumph and tragedy, darkness and defiance, because Manchester has never simply existed. It has constantly become something new. Let us begin in the year 79 AD. Governor Gnaeus Julius Agricola pushes Roman legions northward into the territory of the Brigantes tribe. They need a fort to control vital routes between the strongholds at Chester and York. On a sandstone bluff overlooking the meeting point of the Medlock and Irwell rivers, they select their site. The local people know this place as something like a breast-shaped hill. The Romans Latinize it into Mamucium. Imagine the scene. Auxiliary soldiers recruited from across the empire, Spain, Germany, North Africa, laboring in the cold, damp frontier. They construct a rectangular fort with earthen ramparts and timber palisades, large enough for 500 men. This is no luxurious posting. Rain lashes the walls, winds howl across the hills, and Rome feels impossibly distant. Over decades, they rebuild in stone for durability. Beyond the gates, a civilian vicus settlement emerges, home to traders, craftspeople, soldiers' families, and local Britons. A bathhouse offers rare comfort, steam rising as men wash away the grime of frontier duty. A mansio provides lodging for official travelers. Pottery kilns fire, grain mills turn, and life clings to the edge of empire with stubborn routine. For 3 centuries, Mamucium endures. Then in 410 AD, Rome recalls its legions to defend the crumbling heartland. The soldiers depart, leaving stone walls, straight roads, and scattered artifacts. Without imperial support, the fort decays. Locals quarry the stones for their own use. The civilian settlement shrinks and fades. Within generations, the site slips into obscurity. The name evolves through Old English into something resembling Mamucium, eventually becoming Manchester. Almost nothing is recorded for centuries after the Roman withdrawal. When William the Conqueror's Domesday Book surveys England in 1086, Manchester receives only the briefest mention, a minor manor tied to Salford, with perhaps a few hundred residents living in simple wooden dwellings amid marshland and forest. It is unremarkable, just another small settlement in the northwest, yet change arrives quietly. In 1222, a lord secures royal permission to hold a market. Trade follows. People gather around a market cross. A parish church rises, later evolving into the grand structure of Manchester Cathedral, rebuilt in striking perpendicular Gothic by the 14th century. By 1400, the population hovers around 1,500. The town remains small, vulnerable to floods from the surrounding rivers, its economy rooted in agriculture and wool. Lancashire's hills supply fleeces that local weavers and fullers process in cottage workshops. It is modest but steady work. The Reformation under Henry VIII brings upheaval elsewhere, yet Manchester's collegiate church endures. During the Civil War of 1642, the townspeople side firmly with Parliament, erecting barricades and repelling royalist assaults, forging a lasting reputation for independence and resolve. By the 1650s, the population reaches perhaps 5,000. A grammar school educates the young, and textile trade brings growing wealth. Still, Manchester is not yet special. It waits, gathering strength in the damp air and the determined spirit of its people, for the spark that will ignite the modern world. The spark finally ignites in the late 1700s. Across England, lightweight cotton fabrics imported from India captivate the fashionable classes. Softer, brighter, and easier to launder than heavy wool, cotton promises a revolution in clothing and comfort. Yet Britain grows none of its own. Raw fibre must cross oceans, and Manchester, with its damp climate ideal for spinning and weaving, sits perfectly positioned to become the processing heart. What follows is a story of dazzling innovation, shadowed by profound human cost. The cotton that fuels Manchester flows from plantations in the American South and Caribbean, cultivated by enslaved African labor under brutal conditions. Ships depart British ports laden with goods, exchange them for human lives on the African coast, then deliver those captives to the Americas before returning heavy with raw cotton, sugar, and tobacco. This triangular trade binds Manchester's rising fortunes to one of history's darkest systems. The city profits from the labor of the enslaved, while its own workers soon endure their own form of exploitation. At first, production remains small-scale, a cottage industry of spinning wheels humming in homes and handlooms clacking in workshops. Merchants collect the cloth, often selling it back to clothe the very people held in bondage. Then come the machines that change everything. In 1764, James Hargreaves invents the spinning jenny, allowing one worker to spin multiple threads simultaneously. Richard Arkwright follows with the water frame in 1769, powered by water wheels. By 1779, Samuel Crompton's spinning mule combines the best of both, vastly multiplying output. These devices prove too large and expensive for cottage floors. They demand dedicated buildings, reliable power, and organized labor. The factory system is born. Multi-story brick mills rise along Manchester's rivers and canals in the 1780s and 1790s, their steam engines soon thundering day and night. By 1800, the city is transformed from quiet market town into something unprecedented, the world's first industrial metropolis. Population surges from around 10,000 in 1700 to over 70,000 by 1801, then doubles again within decades as migrants pour in from the countryside and island. You can picture the scene. Towering chimneys belching black smoke that blots the sky, the constant rumble of machinery vibrating through the streets. Cotton is king, and Manchester earns the nickname Cottonopolis. Yet the glory of production masks a nightmare for the workers who power it. Families cram into back-to-back terrace houses in narrow, sunless courts. Entire households share single damp rooms without sanitation or clean water. Cholera and typhus thrive. Children as young as 5 or 6 labor in the mills, their tiny fingers ideal for darting beneath whirring machines to clear waste. Accidents maim or kill with horrifying regularity. Cotton dust fills lungs, shortening lives dramatically. Average life expectancy in 1840s Manchester hovers around just 25 years. People come anyway, driven by rural poverty and the promise of wages, however meager. Irish immigrants swell the numbers, especially after the potato famine. The city expands chaotically, unplanned and overcrowded. By the 1810s, frustration boils over. Manchester has become one of Britain's largest cities, an economic powerhouse, yet it holds no parliamentary seats. Working people, the very engine of its wealth, possess no voice in governance. On August 16, 1819, 60 to 80,000 men, women, and children gather peacefully at St. Peter's Field, dressed in their best clothes, carrying banners for reform and liberty, many with picnic baskets. They come to hear orator Henry Hunt demand representation. The atmosphere is hopeful, almost festive. Local magistrates, fearing the crowd's size, order the yeomanry cavalry to arrest Hunt. What follows is slaughter. Drunken, saber-wielding horsemen charge into the packed throng, slashing indiscriminately. The professional 15th Hussars join, turning flight into chaos. When the dust settles, at least 15 lie dead and over 600 wounded, many with deep cuts. The event earns the bitter name Peterloo, a savage mockery of Waterloo. Peaceful citizens cut down for daring to ask for basic rights. The massacre shocks the nation. The memory of Peterloo lingered like a scar across the city's soul, a brutal reminder of power clashing with the people's demand for dignity. Yet Manchester refused to be broken. Instead, it channeled its defiance into innovation that would reshape the world. Just 11 years later, on September 15, 1830, thousands gathered along the newly laid tracks near Liverpool Road. The air buzzed with anticipation as George Stephenson's rocket locomotive prepared to pull the first carriages on the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, the world's first modern intercity passenger line. Imagine the spectacle: smoke billowing, crowds cheering as this iron beast accelerated to an unthinkable 30 miles per hour. A journey that once took a full day by canal now promised less than 2 hours. This was more than transport. It was the future arriving in thunderous style, binding Manchester tighter to global markets and pouring raw cotton in at unprecedented speed. Yet triumph turned tragic in an instant. MP William Huskisson, stepping onto the tracks to greet the Duke of Wellington, was struck by the rocket and became history's first railway fatality. Even in celebration, Manchester reminded the world that progress extracts a price. By the 1830s and 1840s, the city had become Cottonopolis, the undisputed capital of the global textile trade. Mills multiplied like a forest of brick and iron, their chimneys piercing the sky and filling it with endless smoke. Population exploded from 70,000 in 1801 to over 300,000 by mid-century, as desperate families flooded in from rural England and famine-struck Ireland. You can almost hear the relentless rhythm of the factories, the clatter of looms, the hiss of steam engines running 14, 16 hours a day. Fortunes were made for mill owners and merchants, who built grand houses on the outskirts. But down in the cramped courts and cellars, the reality was hellish. Families of 8 or 10 squeezed into single damp rooms with no sanitation. Rivers ran black with dye and waste. Children, some barely 5 years old, crawled under whirring machines, their small bodies perfect for the dangerous task, while cotton dust slowly destroyed their lungs. Life expectancy hovered near 25. The contrast was stark and cruel. The wealth generated by Manchester clothed the world, yet its creators lived and died in poverty. It was into this crucible that a young German named Friedrich Engels arrived in 1842. Sent to work in his father's cotton business, the 22-year-old walked the slums with open eyes. He documented the filth, the rickets twisted children, the workers coughing blood, the casual brutality of the factory floor. His 1845 book, The Condition of the Working Class in England, painted a devastating portrait of industrial capitalism at its rawest. Those pages would later fuel his lifelong collaboration with Karl Marx and help birth the Communist Manifesto. Manchester had become the shock city of the modern age, a living laboratory where the future of humanity was being forged in fire and misery. Then came the ultimate test of conscience. In 1861, the American Civil War erupted. The Union blockade cut off raw cotton supplies, triggering the Lancashire cotton famine. Mills fell silent. Hundreds of thousands lost their jobs overnight. Families starved. Soup kitchens overflowed but could not keep up. Confederate agents arrived with a desperate bargain: support the South, break the blockade, and cotton would flow again. Many expected Manchester's workers to crumble under hunger and back the Confederacy. Instead, on New Year's Eve 1862, thousands packed the Free Trade Hall. Starving, desperate, and facing another winter of empty bellies, they debated, voted, and chose principle. They sent a stirring letter to Abraham Lincoln, pledging support for abolition. Lincoln replied with deep emotion, calling their stand sublime Christian heroism. Even in their darkest hour, Manchester's people chose humanity over survival. When the war ended in 1865 and cotton slowly returned, the city emerged not just intact, but morally strengthened. A statue of Lincoln still stands today in Lincoln Square as quiet witness to that extraordinary choice. By the 1870s, Manchester stood at the very height of its power and ambition, the undisputed workshop of the world. Cotton goods from its mills clothed millions across every continent, and the phrase, "What Manchester does today, the world does tomorrow," rang with truth. Immense wealth flowed into the city, enough for its leaders to declare that Manchester was no mere factory town, but a place of culture and vision. In 1877, the magnificent Manchester Town Hall opened its doors, a Gothic masterpiece designed by Alfred Waterhouse that still dominates Albert Square today. Inside, Ford Madox Brown's murals told the city's story from Roman times through medieval markets to its industrial triumph, a proud declaration carved in stone and paint. Not far away, Enriqueta Rylands fulfilled her late husband's dream by opening the John Rylands Library in 1900, a neo-Gothic cathedral of knowledge with soaring vaulted ceilings, intricate carvings and stained glass that bathed rare manuscripts in colored light. These buildings were more than architecture. They were statements of arrival, proof that a city born in smoke and struggle could also create beauty and learning. Yet even at its peak, shadows were gathering. The new century brought fierce global competition as American and Japanese mills produced cheaper cloth and Indian nationalists boycotted British goods. World War I tore at the city's heart. Thousands of young Mancunians marched off in PALS battalions, entire streets losing their men in a single bloody day on the Somme. Factories shifted to war production, and women took their places at the machines in unprecedented numbers. The interwar years tested resilience further as textile dominance slipped away. Then came the Manchester Blitz of December 1940. For 2 terrible nights, German bombers hammered the city centre, killing over 600 and gutting historic buildings. The heart of Cottonopolis burned, yet the people endured. After 1945, the long decline of the textile industry accelerated. Mills fell silent, warehouses stood empty, and once proud streets grew quiet and grimy. Slum clearances in the 1960s demolished Victorian terraces, but replaced them with concrete tower blocks that soon bred their own problems. By the 1970s and 1980s, central Manchester felt tired and forgotten, a city that had made the modern world now struggling to find its place in it. But Manchester has always possessed an unbreakable creative spirit. From the revolutionary sounds of Joy Division and the Smiths to the Manchester explosion of the Stone Roses and Happy Mondays, the city produced music that defined generations. Football remained a religion, with Manchester United and Manchester City carrying the city's name across the globe, their successes and tragedies binding communities together. The turning point came in the 1990s and early 2000s. Victorian warehouses were reborn as loft apartments, creative studios and thriving bars. The 2002 Commonwealth Games brought new infrastructure and confidence, especially the Etihad Stadium and the regeneration of East Manchester. Media City UK rose from old docks, drawing the BBC and thousands of creative jobs. Today, Manchester thrives as a young, dynamic metropolis of over 630,000 people within a greater urban area of 3 million. Glass towers stand alongside restored red brick mills, now housing tech startups and universities, educating more than 100,000 students. The city's legendary nightlife, its vibrant Canal Street gay village, and its world-famous football clubs give it global magnetism. Challenges remain. Deep pockets of deprivation, visible homelessness, and inequality still scar the landscape. The 2017 Manchester Arena attack tested the city's soul once more, yet the response revealed its true character. The worker bee emblem, symbol of industrious resilience since the Industrial Revolution, became a badge of defiance and unity. From a lonely Roman fort on a windswept bluff to the world's first industrial city, and now a confident, creative powerhouse, Manchester has reinvented itself again and again. Its buildings change, its industries evolve, but the character of its people, defiant, innovative, compassionate in the face of hardship, remains constant. This is the story of a city that never stood still. It has always moved forward, shaping history while refusing to be defined by its darkest chapters. Manchester's past is written in smoke, struggle, and extraordinary courage. Its future remains unwritten, full of the same restless energy that has carried it through 2,000 years.